Hi friends, welcome. Lorenda here. Thank you for joining me. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you haven't already done so, please hit the subscribe button. I appreciate the support while I'm growing this channel. So today's project is actually a really fun one. And this is multiple ways to do wine glasses. Now, these are great as gifts for a party with New Year's Eve coming up. Lots of different uses for these. So I did a video a couple months back on a Dollar Tree vase, and I showed you how I make my vases look much more expensive than they certainly are, using the alcohol ink. Well, I use that same process also on wine glasses. There's 3 different ways though to do it, so I really did all 3 ways, and there will be some video to follow on each one of them if you'd like to see that. So the first thing is, so these wine glasses here, first of all, I did glitter the rims on these, and with this process, I take and put the epoxy, of course I cover my glitter, and I take and put that clear epoxy up onto the cup, and then I put on my alcohol ink, and that gives it more of like a stained glass type of look. Now I do also like to put the alcohol ink in the neck here and here on my glass also. It makes the glitter look really nice. And then with this, you can put your decal either on right away and do 1 layer of epoxy. You can do a 2nd layer of epoxy after putting your decal. If you do, make it really, really thin though, both layers, because you don't want to feel a bunch of epoxy on your glass. And then also you can just put your decals on and honestly not have to do anything over top of them is fine as well. So I really love the way this looks, doing it this way. And again, you can do any colors that you want, and you can do them for any type of occasion. Now, this is really similar glass, and again, I did the glitter. The difference though between this one and the other one is that this is done with mica powder. So mica powder in the epoxy and then put it on. So just to show you that you can also use mica powder. Okay. Now this is actually my favorite way to do them, and I do this often. I've used this to make so many different types of glasses. I've done beach scenes and just, all different colors depending on, what's going on. But this one, I don't know if you can see, but it just really gives it such a nice swirl pattern to this. So this one is putting the alcohol ink inside the epoxy and then putting it on your glass. And it's very nice. It comes out very nice. It's always going to be different. And this is more of a smoky, cloudy look to it, but it's just really beautiful. I do this a lot when I'm giving wine as a gift to people. So it's just super nice. Now, on my wine glasses, I never go all the way up. I always go to the halfway mark or a little bit lower. The reason for it is, even though I use FDA food compatible epoxy, my preference, I don't like having the epoxy where people are going to put their mouth. That's just how I feel about it. Now on this one, I will do, like on these, I tend to do a little bit lower, and then I will armor etch through here, or on this one, I think I'm going to probably do a heat transfer vinyl on here. lots of different things that you can do with these. So, but they just really come out so beautiful, and all of them are different. And these also very, very cool. So listen, I hope that this gives you some inspiration. I hope you enjoy the video. And like I said, please give it a big thumbs up if you like it, and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. I appreciate it, and I hope you have a beautiful, wonderful, blessed rest of the day. Thanks. Bye. All right, so the first one that we're going to do is with our mica powder. Now, on the glitter base of these, I did seal it with the Mod Podge, and I did that so that when I put the epoxy on, I don't have to worry about any of my glitter coming off. Makes it nice and easy. And I can do one layer of epoxy with no worries. So I'm going to go on and put my epoxy, just a nice thin coat. You don't want this to be too thick because you don't want your wine glass to have a thick ridge around it, and you don't want it to be too heavy. So just a nice thin coat. I use the 2-part epoxy. And the epoxy that I've been using lately is the one from Michaels. I did do a review on it and showed the epoxy. I like it a lot. Now, when I do the mica powder cup, I do also still put a thin coat of just clear epoxy up over where I plan on putting the mica. I find that it helps it move a little bit better. So then on my mica, I just put a little spoon inside my epoxy. I don't need a lot of it. And then I just sort of drip it where I want it to go. Now, it's going to have a little bit of a mind of its own. However, you can at least place where you want colors to be, specific colors to be. Now, I'm doing this one black and gold because that is what I'm going to use as the color combination for New Year's. And I'm going to use this for one of our New Year's glasses. So after you put your mica on, just let it spin. And if you want to, you can take a heat gun to it and kind of help blow the colors around a little bit. Otherwise, you're just going to let it spin until it dries, and it will give you a nice swirl pattern. So the next wine glass that we're going to do is alcohol ink. And this we're going to do with applying the epoxy first and then dripping on our alcohol ink. So again, I only want to go about halfway up. And on these particular glasses here, I did go ahead and put my 2019 on ahead of time to cover with the epoxy. You can do that whichever way you want. Now, again, my glitter I did seal with Mod Podge to make it easier to apply the epoxy without the glitter coming off. Because I'm doing epoxy though, I only did one layer of Mod Podge and let it dry completely. The one thing I have found, I know I complain a lot about my spinet, and again, I really don't like it for big tumblers at all. It works good for little plastic cups, plastic coffee cups, and it works okay for the mini double-walled steel tumblers. Again, just okay, but it does work good for the plastic cups, but I also found it works fantastic for the wine glasses. So just so you know. All right, so again, I am just putting on my epoxy, and I put it up halfway on all the glasses, and then I'm going to cover all my glitter in epoxy. So we'll get our 3 bases of glitter covered, and then we will move on with our alcohol inks. So I did choose to do this in red and green because I was going to be using them for Christmas. Oh, and also the 2019, that really pretty plaid that you see there, that is actually from Target. That's the Target plaid vinyl. I bought a bunch more of it actually too, because with their winter clearance after Christmas, it was all 50% off, so it was only 50 cents a sheet. I'm excited to see what they bring out for Valentine's Day and Easter. I hope that they continue with their vinyl. All right, so we're getting the last wine glass stem covered. All right, so now we're going to go with our alcohol ink. And as you can see, you just drop it on wherever you'd like it to go. You can put as much on it as you feel like you need. You can put as little on it as you need. You can use any colors that you want. Again, I myself do like to put a little bit of alcohol ink also on both base ends where the glitter is on the stem of the wine glass. And you just drop it on. And then also with this, you can either just let it continue to turn and let it turn into what it's going to be, or you can use your heat gun and you can move your alcohol inks around, whichever you prefer. So on these, I only did this one layer. Again, if you want, you can do your decals after this dries and then do another layer of epoxy. But again, make it a very thin layer because you don't want a ridge on your cup, nor do you want your cup to be too heavy. All right, and now we'll move into our next ones. All right, so now we're gonna do our wine glasses, and this time I wanted to use stemless so that you can see both types of wine glasses being done. Now on the stemless, if you wanted, you could also glitter your bottom. I've done this in so many different ways. A lot of times when I do a beach tumbler, I like to do a gold colored glitter on the bottom of this and then do my different blues and whites going up. Lots of different things you can do with this. But again, you're going to mix your alcohol ink in your epoxy and just kind of put it on where you want it, how you want it to go. It's going to have somewhat of a mind of its own, but you can get it where you want it to be. Now, as you're placing colors though, don't forget that your colors will naturally somewhat run together. And if you want your colors to run together even more, then you take your heat gun and just give it a little bit of heat. Remember never to stay on the same place. You always want to keep your heat gun moving. I use a little embossing heat gun that I got from Amazon. It gets hot enough, but it's not so hot that it makes everything melt. I do have a big heat gun that my husband got me that I really don't use. My embossing gun works fantastic. So, and then on this, you just continue to add your colors, whatever you would like to see on your cup. Now, when I do this, I really like adding a little bit of white into it always, just because I think that the white blends in and gives it this nice, like, opaque, cloudy kind of look, and it helps it to look as though the glass was just made that way. But you can use any colors that you like. And then again, you just, you know, put your epoxy with your alcohol ink on, however it is that you want, and then let it just spin until it dries, and you'll be very surprised at the beautiful texture that comes out. Now this is also really nice, and maybe I'll do one. This technique is also super fun on the mason jars, like the mason jars with the straws. So it's another good one for that. Now, I only like to go halfway up, like I said, because even though it is FDA approved epoxy, I still don't like to have epoxy where people are going to put their lips. Now on these ones, I'm actually going to go back in and I will video it when I do it. I'm going to use a heat transfer vinyl on these and put 2020 on there. All right, well, listen, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope it gave you some inspiration, and I hope you have a blessed, beautiful, and amazing rest of your day. Thanks. Bye.